Oh, hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be a video where I look at all my plants that are in tree fern substrate, my tree fern mix. If y'all are new here, I did, for the first time, experiment with tree fern fiber and made my own mix just based on what I've heard from people in the plant community. So I have that mix. That's my, well, I call it my 1.0. And then I think about 6 weeks ago, I made a 2.0 where I added worm castings as kind of like a fertilizer. And then I added, what did I add? A biochar as well. So for some, it's going to be like the 3-month update. And for some, it's just going to be a 6-week update. But I wanted to do this video just because I wanted to, as my journey continues, experimenting with tree fern, because if y'all know, I prefer Leca and Lechuza Pond. I just want to see things that I've noticed, things that I like, look at the foliage, look at the roots. Like, I really wanted to continue to just keep a diary, I guess, so I could look back and see what was happening at this point. So mainly, I would say anthuriums are the ones that I transferred into tree fern just because the Anthurium community like swears by it. I have, I think, a couple Hoyas. I have a few Monsteras. If y'all watched my Monstera Burle Marx Flame video, I have like 3 or 4 in that tree fern mix. I have a Philodendron Strawberry Shake, so I'll show that one as well. And so, starting out with my favorite plant in my collection, and this is just a couple of my specimens, and y'all have seen it recently, the Monstera Burle Marx Flame. So there's 2 in here. I'm pretty sure it had the mother leaves that I have since cut off, and then it had this leaf over here. It had this leaf over here, and I'm pretty sure it was pushing out a new leaf. Whoa, how are you gonna do, my dear? Do you know what I'm curious about? I'm curious about the fenestrations, because a lot of people, I strongly believe it's light related when it comes to fenestrations, but I think nutrients play a part as well. So I'm gonna see what happens. I think it'll be just fine. Look at that. I thought it was fitting to open with this plant because this is the very first plant that I put in tree fern substrate. This for sure is a 1.0. I do remember that. And it is, I am shocked at how beautiful foliage is, how shiny it is, and also fenestrations. Like, it is just stunning. So one plant to this side has pushed out 3 leaves. So on average, about a leaf a month. And then this one I think is about the same. So that one was here already. So 3. So in the second plant has less fenestrations. This is the newest leaf. I think the one before that is a claw, and then there's a claw over here. So comparing to this plant living in pond or leca, it's the same growth. I'm almost thinking, and really, like, it's still premature, but is this growing faster? Is it growing the fastest out of all the mediums? I don't know. I mean, these propagated, I forgot to mention that these were propagating in Lechuza Pond first, and then I did transfer them into this mix. And I have it in a self-watering planter, so it does stay wet a lot for a longer time. And so I don't know, looking very promising. I do have a second one, and this one I actually don't know, how long it's been. You can see that it's still healthy. The newest leaf is that one, and then the leaf has come out. You can see more than one fenestration for sure. So that's very promising. The second one has not fenestrated yet. The newest leaf is this one, and oh gosh, there is a new leaf coming. Where is it? Do you see it? Future Kevin, zoom in. There is a new leaf. And this one you can see the roots through the clear planter. They're huddling at the bottom. Obviously, because this plant doesn't have a reservoir, it does dry out quicker. So I am trying to keep it moist and not watering it when it's bone dry, like really keeping on top of it. And I guess we'll look at the only other Monstera that I have in this mix. So my Monstera, it's hard to show, my Monstera Aurea over here. She's looking gorgeous. So I think, once the roots have really branched and grown, the leaves start to, become more awake. Y'all. Okay. So this one, it's been propagating in leca the whole time. I think this was one of the slower ones because I wasn't giving it any feed until later, and then I would just like forget about it, just hope that it's gonna be okay. So we're left with this cutie. Oh my gosh. While I'm doing it, I just want to see how it's running water. It's going right through. Right through. I love it. So it did push out this leaf over here. And then you can see that there is a brand new one coming out there. I always love seeing a new root. Try to reach the tree fern. And looking at the roots, they look really good there. Do you see how chunky, and you can see the air pockets, and you can see that the substrate is moist? That's that one. So I guess a leaf and a half in that time frame, which I think is pretty average when you compare it to growing this plant in leca and pon. And so I am very happy. I'm gonna start putting moss because actually I don't know if the new leaf is damaged just because of honeycombs, like it rubs when the new leaf is unfurling, so we will see. I guess we'll move on to the only philodendron I have in this mix, and it's the Philodendron Strawberry Shake. I put 2 specimens in here, and these are the specimens that lived in my very old aroid mix from 2021, which consisted of a lot of bark, and I really did dry them out a lot. I was actually very surprised to see that they were still alive. I think they've pushed out 2 or 3 leaves since I transferred it. So this leaf for sure. And then you can see this new one here. I'm gonna move it over there. So I guess we don't know yet. And then rotating for sure this leaf. And then there is a new leaf coming. I'm not sure about the one before, like this one. I don't know if I pushed out that one. Looking at the roots, you can see that she has, you know, kind of grown, and definitely new rootage there, which is lovely to see. There's one on the other side here. And I do have a moss pole on it, so you can see some roots. So some of the newer roots up here. That's fantastic. Moving down. Oh, where's the other one? It's covered by this, the rootage there, so that's wonderful. Yeah, it's been quite a long time since I grew philodendrons in any sort of organic mix. I'm overall liking what I'm seeing. So that's the progress of this one. So again, I don't think it's growing like any quicker. I mean, it might be, we'll see in the future, but I think it's about the same when you compare it to when I had a strawberry shake in leca, strawberry shake in Lechuza pon. I think the rate is pretty similar. Moving to Hoyas. So I think there's 2 Hoyas that I have in this mix, and this is a little bit, I guess you could see it as kind of similar, but they were propagations. The Burle Marx flames were propagations, but they're just rooted already, and the strawberry shakes were rooted already. So this was, I think one of them was rooted, and this is the Hoya Lacunosa Souma. I think one had root systems, and then I cut it a little bit more just to propagate. Okay, so once you have them all in, I try to like move the substrate and push it around where the plants are, but the water is like not agreeing with me. And then you just take the net pot out like that, and then all the tree fern or the substrate just settles. So then because the water's not there, it just settles around the stem and roots. And then we have this beauty. I can't wait. I'm actually very excited for this one. And then I pushed them into the substrate, and so I think most of them had 2 leaves, and so you can see that it's grown a lot. And so I'm very excited. Like, look at this. Also, didn't know this Hoya existed. And Helen versus Plants and Crazy Plant Buddy, Jojo. Man, thank you for sending me this beautiful, beautiful plant. Like, I have no words. I do feel just because I had smaller pieces, I mean, the opposite actually, the bigger pieces of perlite, I did sift through, so there wasn't that many just because it was a smaller planter and no roots in the reservoir. I've said this before, but I strongly believe that you either need to be like a helicopter plant parent where you water or check your plants like every 2 to 3 days and make sure the substrates aren't dry. For me, I don't check on them often, so I really recommend, if you don't check on your plants often, having a self-watering apparatus. These have a wick, and they also have a reservoir that, you know, I fill just this much, and in a 2-week time period, they never dry out completely, and you never want your plants to dry out completely. Personally, it might be that type of Hoya, but I think this is pretty fast because I don't think I did this 3 months ago. I think it was 6 weeks ago. I think the other one I'm going to show is, I repotted at the same time, so 6 weeks ago. I just spilled a bunch of water. 6 weeks ago, and so that one is a bit slower, I would say. Hoya Nummaroides silver. Again, I was so surprised. I didn't know there was a silver version of this plant, and I'm obsessed. These are the new leaves. They're not hardened off yet, so I'm going to try to be careful. But do you see that? That's that, and then the cutting here. Again, I'm just making an assumption. Look at that new growth. Do you see that? It's so cute. You know, I want to see if there's any roots. I didn't expect that many, but I see one peeking through. Do you see that? And I think the last one that isn't doing anything, and I do expect, I'm trying to see if there's any movement. Here's the thing. I think there was a new node, and then when I transferred into tree fern 6 weeks ago, I was like, I destroyed it maybe because I don't see it anymore. Or it's like brown now. The Argentea princess over here. So I'm blasting it with light. I'm thinking that's what that is. I might cut off that leaf just to release just oxen into, you know, newer potential growth. Should I do that? Am I gonna kill it? I'm gonna do it, guys. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm grabbing my Shiranias. We're doing it. I would say Argentea princesses are on the slower end of things. So we'll see. So 0 growth since I transferred it for this one. Almost forgot. Almost forgot reintroducing this plant back into my collection because I gifted the main, like the big one, to one of my really close friends at work. This is my Hoya Thomsonii with the white flowers. So I took a lot of cuttings. It is in that tree fern mix. And I propagated this a month and a half ago. You know, I tried to mix up, just because the plant wasn't doing that well. I tried to mix up really healthy leaves and non-healthy leaves, or like questionable leaves between the two planters. And I put this one into tree fern, and the one that I have at work is in Lechuza Pond. That one has already pushed out leaves, and the tree fern one hasn't done a thing yet. So 4 Hoyas, roughly around the 6-week update, so it's still a little premature, like I don't know. Obviously, I think the Lacunosa, I think all Lacunosa are pretty fast growers, so like I don't think it's the only reason, like me putting in a tree fern, I don't think that's the only reason why it's growing quickly, like it's just a fast plant. Because on the flip side, the Argentea princess, it's not a fast Hoya. At least, I don't know, I don't have experience, but people tell me it's not a fast Hoya. And that one has done nothing. And I would expect that, even if it was in a different substrate. I am over the moon excited about this next plant. It is a Queen Crystal crossed with King of Spades, and this, you know, originally I put all of them in pon, but because the roots, oh, I thought I wasn't recording. I'm still not used to this new camera. Because the roots were going out into the reservoir, I was like, okay, let's take it out, and why don't we try tree ferns? Ooh. Pretty incredible, guys. Wow, look at this root system. Look at that. Whoa, okay. Again, pond stratum. Wow, I put a lot of stratum in here. Is that why this plant is going off? So I'm just gonna put the pond that was already in there, and I'm gonna put at the bottom, and I guess I'll just plop it in. Okay, so she's now in a pond tree fern hybrid, I guess. I think during the transfer, she did have this healthy leaf already. So this one came out when she was living in pond. You can see the ones before that. I'll get to that leaf in a sec. They look like this, so pretty small. And like all plants, if they're in transit, like they won't look the best and you're putting them in shock. Look at this new leaf, not hardened off yet, but look at this. So this leaf came out living in tree fern. And so the one before that is that one, and that's the new leaf. Okay, I don't know if it's showing because the light, but it's showing a lot of King of Spades pink in the veining a little bit. Future Kevin, zoom in, do you see the pink? I don't know if the light's blowing it out. It's something I didn't see in the previous leaf. So I don't know. It's so pretty. So pretty. Let's see if there's any roots that have grown out. Yeah, crawling is crawling. Oh, there's another one. Crawling. Oh my god, there's so many crawling. Oh my god, yeah, there's every single slit you can see root growth. That's so crazy. So that's her. Isn't she a beauty? And this one, I don't know, I was gonna be so excited for this plant. Okay, got this plant from Kitty, and it is the Anthurium Carla. It came from an unnamed Carla crossed with flat Besseae. Am I right? So when I got it, she looked like that, and then the one at the back, so 3 leaves. Then I had it. Okay, this looks a little yellow on the edges. I noticed, and this is why I have it now in a self-watering planter. If I had this plant in a nursery pot, so a nursery pot with holes, I would let it dry out, or I wasn't used to the watering schedule, and so it would be dry and I didn't even realize it was dry. So I think that's part of the damage, not damage, or like the coloration here. I also think because when I just pulled it, the grow light is pretty close. And so I think part of this is bleaching from the grow light. The leaf feels healthy though. It's surprisingly, like, I didn't realize and didn't think that this plant was gonna have like thick leaves. And then the new one is not hard enough yet, so I'm gonna try to be careful and hopefully it's not bleached like the other one. But this one's facing away from the grow light. The grow light is here, and then so this part is like not facing it. And it is the veins. If you know, you know. The veins are just, I don't know how to describe it. The veins, do you see? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I didn't even realize it was gonna look this way because look at the newest leaf when I got it. Like, there's no indication of what it was gonna look like. And again, with hybrids, you just don't know. I'm so excited. So Kitty, thank you. And this hybrid is also from propagate_Shayna. So yeah, hello. Couple leaves in like the 3 months. So I think that's pretty average for an Anthurium, a leaf per month. And really a lot of plants. Okay. This is an example of a plant that isn't bouncing back the way I want it to bounce back. So I know this is the Tree Fern Mix 2.0. So that includes worm castings and a biochar. This is my Anthurium, what is it? Papillilaminum hybrid crossed with Papillilaminum. Is it just a Papillilaminum hybrid? I just ripped it more. I was trying to move the leaf out of the way. Okay, so 6 weeks ago when I transferred it, I was talking about how I don't know what's happening. This was originally in pond, and I think because it was more of a juvenile plant and I was still kind of blasting it with nutrients, the pH got really, really just messed up in the substrate. So look at this. Again, this is not grow light damage. This is what's happening. Maybe in the plant's roots, we'll take a look. The pH, and I think I did add stratum, like I see it at the top here, and she has pushed out this leaf. It's pupped twice, so it's hard. It's pupped twice, but they haven't grown any aerial roots yet on the new pups, and I don't think I can separate these. Okay, well, that's okay. There was no root rot. I want to stress that again. The roots look like this. So they look really good, everyone. And yeah, it's interesting because this is obviously not a happy plant. Can y'all just send a prayer that this does well? The 2 leaves that it pushed out because it popped are this one. So still not looking great. And then this one I ripped it. There's a small rip and then I was trying to move it and I'm still ripping it. Oh my God, Kevin, this one. So it looks better, but like, man, I think this plant's just broken. I think it's just broken, guys. I kind of think I need to just divide it, and maybe because they're splitting nutrients across 2 very young plants, maybe that's why. And so let's move on to one of my favorites, and we're continuing with anthuriums. The majority of these plants in tree fern are anthuriums. The Anthurium Magnificum crossed with Ace of Spades, Tezula Dark Form. This leaf looks absolutely stunning. It's fully hard off, so that's how dark it's gonna be. I don't know if it's the 6-week mark or if it's closer to 3 months. But I mean, in that time, it was this leaf and then this leaf, so 1.5, I guess. And then the roots are stunning. So you can see that I still have this in like an orchid nursery pot. Look at the roots. I am planning to transfer it. I was planning to transfer it after this hard enough, but it quickly pushed out this leaf. And every time I repot a plant, I always break the new emergence. And so I was like, okay, Kevin, calm down. The leaves before that, these were in Lashusa Pond before. So she pushed out this leaf. Oh my God, I almost dropped it. She pushed out this leaf and this leaf here. And yeah, she's doing well. I'm very impressed with this plant. Like root-wise, there's a lot of roots. Okay, moving on to this one. Okay, Damajania, you know me. I'm so clumsy. Okay, so this is another plant from Kitty. This is an Anthurium Besseae Turtleback. It's actually a known hybrid. I think the seed batch which was actually contaminated from what I hear. It's originally from Philodendron. I got it with the 3 baby leaves down here. I don't know if you can see, but I want to repot it just because I can see new roots and I just want to submerge them. Like there's a brand new root here. Ooh, there's roots at the bottom, yo. I'm just gonna put the pond in those holes because pond does a good job to block those holes. I think that's a good idea. So I just put a thin layer of pond. And okay, let's take the plant and these roots are great. Oh my gosh. And I still left some moss. We're just gonna be okay with it. Okay, let's water her. And then this leaf. It looks so good. It looks so good, guys. Wow. Okay, and then the new leaf, oh my God, is damaged. I think I just like hit it or something, but like damage. But size-wise, similar. A little bit bigger is what I would expect. And so it's not hardened off yet, and that's why it's this color. I'm so excited because look how dark. So in that period of time, I'm thinking it's closer to 3 months. I should have done my research before. I pushed out this leaf, which is freaking gorgeous, and then this leaf is not hard off yet. I feel bad. Okay, another one that isn't doing well that I also got from Kitty. Oh my gosh, Kitty. I know I got this from the Ontario Plant Show because I remember being like, oh, I want that when she said what it was. So this is a Anthurium Papillilaminum RA5 crossed with Papillilaminum Swamp Bunny. This is what I was talking about, what I said. I didn't realize how dry the tree fern substrate, like how dry it would get. And because I'm so used to Lashusa Pond, which in itself holds onto a lot of moisture, this dried out. I almost lost it completely. I think I messaged Kitty. I was like, girl, I killed one of the plants because of that. Because I want to save it, I cut the leaf in half. If I want the plant to focus on root growth, I do cut it just so there's less energy that needs to be divided in the plant. And then the first leaf, if it's not doing well, it always looks awful. So look at this. This leaf is hilarious. But look, guys, there's a new one. And it looks like it's a full leaf. I don't know how to show it. It's in there. Do you see that? Oh, I'm so excited. So very happy. I already know, like I can tell that the leaves are going to be smaller, but that's okay just because it had 0 roots. Ultimately, I'm just happy that it's bouncing back. I love how this video is like, let me show you all my plants. Okay, I'll show you this one first. Oh, it is beautiful. Okay, this is, oh my God, what is it? It's a Dadbod. I know it's a Dadbod. Okay, it's the Anthurium Papillilaminum Dadbod crossed with Papillilaminum regardens. I'm actually not sure like if this is like nutrient based. I'm pretty sure that, okay, so background. I got this plant from David from the Prop Studio TO, Confused Planto. In February, I was still growing plants in Pond and Leca. And so I actually kept it in its apparatus and I'm pretty sure it was in a tree fern type mix also. All the leaves that exist now weren't there before. And future Kevin, if you could find a clip of what it looked like when I transferred it into this platter, I'd appreciate it. I know you're gonna hate me because you're gonna have to look at so much footage. I also got these from David. I'll put the information. They're 2 seedlings. And this one is looking dark and long. Love that. This one looks like it kind of has a wider sinus here. But yeah, we'll see. They're still young. So initially a tree fern mix with it looks like perlite, and then this one's the same. Look at these. They're so cute. This is the first one. I am gonna put them in the same like bigger like planters. I know I have these small ones here, but I see anthuriums are different because their roots get really big, and I find that they need a little bit of room, but okay. So you can see I removed the moss, and those are the roots over there. Oh my god, this is too much perlite. Oh, it's so cute. Oh my god, okay. So here's the first one. But I am just so pleased. These leaves are long. And I don't know if it's because of the nutrients, but they're long. Okay, so first leaf here is starting to elongate. Then this one. Do you see how long? Then this one, which is so dark. Do you see this? This one, and then... Why is it so long though? Is it in the genetics? This is the new leaf. Obviously not hard enough. But what happened? Is it supposed to look like this? Are Dadbods long? I guess they are kind of long. No? I do think that all 4 of these leaves came out in this mix that I made for myself. And I'm pretty sure it was closer to 3 months. But if anyone has like the same variety, like are y'all's this long? I don't know, I just love how dark. And this is the thing, putting small anthuriums in wider planters. Like the leaves, they need an edge to obviously hang off. And so you can see that she was curving and then she hardened off that way. So now I have to like pull it like that way if I want to show how long it is. Look at this. Are you joking? And then this one was closer to the edge, so hopefully she won't bend that way. So that's one. I actually got 2, and they look quite different. I actually propagated one already. Oh my god, it's doing very poorly, everyone. Okay, the other one I thought was giving me like not that long leaves, but like maybe they're similar. I did the same thing with that one. So this is the butt cut. Like I said, I already chopped it. I'm pretty sure it was the same rate as the previous one. And I know that because, okay, don't judge me, everyone. Okay, also, I forgot. I chopped it and I didn't have any planters that like were small enough. And so I put it into this empty gray white container. But look at the leaves. They're the same darkness. This one's gonna be gone. I can already feel it. I might as well just cut this leaf. There is 0 growth. I didn't listen to my own advice where I said like to eliminate, so there's 1 leaf. Okay, so you can see that this is the top cut. Is it rotting? No, it's just that color. Okay, it's not squishy. There is an aerial root over there. That wasn't there before. But I think I should get rid of 1 leaf. Saying goodbye, yeah. And just looking at that, I feel like I do need to have the water level higher. If there's 0 roots, you need it to be wet, and maybe that's why it wasn't doing well. It might have not been doing well because, you know, obviously the root hasn't grown. But if it's not wet enough, that root will not activate. And so that was the second one. Okay, oh my god, I'm breaking things. Taking a little break from anthuriums. Fallopia Multiflora. Yeah. Super thirsty. You can see that she's dry. This one I have to water more than once a week in this tree fern substrate. And like I showed you before, the roots have gone into the reservoir. You know, the black stuff is a residue. Like when you look closer, like you can see that the roots are white and healthy. And yeah, again, I didn't know this before, but it is an invasive, so don't plant it outside. And just dispose of like the nodes of this plant properly and don't just throw in the trash. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I feel like I'm killing this Fallopia. This is what happened, y'all. Okay, this part looks good. Do you see this? I don't know what happened, but this end started dying. And it's like an offshoot, this part. So I don't know if it's sensitive. I did keep it out in ambient conditions for like a day. I don't know if Nikki had this plant in like really, really high humidity. And then also I didn't realize how dry this was. And I remember during the plant show, she was saying like, you can drown them and it'll be fine. So I think because she didn't have water for a little bit, she might have freaked out, and that's what this, things are falling. That's what this vine is. But this part looks healthy still, and it feels really good. Do you see these leaves? Wow. Again, another one I was eyeing for so long. Anyhow, I'm just gonna cut this part because it's kind of dead. I'm just kind of training it around this wire that was already existed here. How exciting, everyone. So we're left with this, which is okay. Still a cutie. Outstanding growth. Outstanding growth in tree fern. It was originally in vermiculite. I've noticed that I've had to water it a lot. Sorry, while I'm talking to y'all, I'll just take the clips and just clip the new vines onto the trellis. Very, very thirsty. There's some dead leaves. Again, every time I miss a watering, which was a week ago and like maybe now because there's zero water in here, you'll find that mainly the white or pink leaves, so any of these leaves, some of them will just completely die. Where is it? I want to pull it out. Because I check on this once a week and that wasn't there a week ago. These leaves are extremely thin. So yeah, this is such a gorgeous, are you kidding? Damn, you're pretty. Okay, don't mind the sap from my Polyneura and the flowers, but one of my favorites, the Anthurium Super Red Crystallinum crossed with Red Crystallina Wu 9. New leaf is that. I think I showed it on my Instagram how purple it was. Future Kevin, if you have that clip, it was so purple. And you can see that once it hardens off, it's like there are red tones still in there and not really that green. Obviously, as time goes by, it will turn a bit more green. And that's the oldest leaf there. Yeah, I was really sad I allowed it to dry out. Oh my gosh. But you know, things happen. Like this is probably, to me, this is a valuable plant. Who's excited? I'm excited. Absolutely stunning. I'm pretty sure that it pushed out this leaf in tree fern, this leaf in tree fern. It's wonderful. 2 leaves in 3 months, which is, I think, is pretty average. I love how I stopped talking about like the average rate of growth that I usually see. There is a root in the reservoir there. Are you kidding? Can you imagine this big and just more veins? Oh, and then the little gift from David. Anthurium Dark Phoenix crossed with Self. It's come so far. Look at this. And there's a new aerial root up here. Y'all know that that's what I'm obsessed with. So I'm gonna try my best to submerge it in this planter. Oh my god, it's so cute. Guys, it's so cute. Look at this. Look, I think I showed this last and the leaf wasn't hard enough. Crazy because she's working on another leaf. I don't know how vigorous the Dark Phoenix is, but this is, first of all, foliage is just so stunning. I love the thin veins and that there's a lot of like thin veins. It is pushing out another leaf. Like what? And it's pupped. Do you see this? This is the pup and that's the new leaf. Wow. Oh, do you see this? It looks darker in person than on camera. Wow, okay. Okay, this is very important. I am pretty sure I had, these are in either moss or maybe some of them were in pond. But this plant is from Portalliae, Dark Phoenix crossed with Fort Sherman. I propagated this plant into like many plants. I did that strategy where I cut the leaf in half. So it had this leaf for quite a long time. So again, this one, that root system. Oh my God, the light. Oh my God. Fantastic root system. I wanted to do this because I wanted to repot it before it pushed out a leaf. I feel like I want to go bigger. See these roots? And then we're just gonna plop it in. How interesting. This is gonna be so interesting, everyone. Look at this new leaf. It is insane. Wow. Like really looking good. Oh, wow, you're still alive? Bug over here. That's Aureus insidiosus. I did a release like 4 weeks ago. And so I'm actually pretty surprised that there's still offspring. Wait, does that mean there's a pest somewhere? Oh my God, hopefully not. Look at this. So insane. Wow, I am so happy. You know, this was from a package that they gifted me back in November of last year. So I know I don't have a lot to show, but she just kept pupping everywhere. And I don't know if it's the Fort Sherman. Like, I think a lot of Fort Sherman hybrids, they are pretty fast and resilient. I don't know if that's true, but I've just noticed it in my collection. So yeah, she's doing quite well in the tree fern substrate. Look at her. So these were like the divisions, and they're still very young. The next two Dark Phoenixes with Fort Sherman, it doesn't necessarily look like there's new root growth, but they do have sets of aerial roots. So I want to submerge them under the substrate. I want them to be adapted to the tree fern. The second one here, do you see it? So I just want to submerge them. Again, they're drying out really quickly, so we're just going to quickly do them. This root system was already present, and so I see there is some roots. Actually, a lot of this root system is not great, so this over here, rip it off, okay? So not a great root system, but I do want to submerge this root over here, if you can see it, this root under the substrate, and then from there I can build a big root system. Wow, what a cutie. This is the same one, so the third one, and this one's kind of in the same situation. Yeah, a lot of this is like done. Like to the point where I'm easily removing a lot of the ends of the existing root system. It's not completely dead, like you can see that a lot of this is decent, but it doesn't look like it's the best. Like I feel like I have to again rely on these nodes up here. Aerial roots right up there. Yeah, I'm getting rid of the majority of this. So that root system. But same plant. So Dark Phoenix crossed with Fort Sherman. And honestly, they've been growing at an amazing rate. 3 leaves. I think the 2 leaves here are new, and then this one had this leaf for so long. Really, really long time, and now she has this one and then the other one. Yeah, very pretty. So same plant. Okay, another plant from Cartel Down. I almost killed it, and she's back. This is my X1 crossed with Fort Sherman. There are new roots over there. Gosh, this light is like really... Okay, there. I'm gonna do one of these. It's funny how when this plant went downhill, look at all those on the stem. None of the old root system survived, so it pushed out a new growth point, and now we have this new root growth. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna plop it in. And let's not forget to keep the label in because there we go. And here. So this is the Anthurium X1 crossed with Fort Sherman. So that's why, and I don't know if you can see, that's why the leaves are kind of looking like super, like not a bright green. This plant had like these baby leaves for so long and it did nothing. And then I transferred it and then she pushed out these 2 leaves. Do you see this? She's bouncing back. I'm so excited. I was so upset. I really lost hope. I was like, it's like not bouncing back, and I had it in moss, I had it in high humidity, and then, I don't know, once I transferred into tree fern, it really bounced back. Look at that. Okay, this one is from Plantito Nurse. Thank you again for sending me this seedling. I think I could be doing better, honestly. I think I need to submerge more roots, but when I got it, it had a few leaves, and this was the newest leaf. You can see that I bleached it under the grow light. And then she pushed out, once it was in this tree fern mix, she did push out this new leaf. I don't know why it's yellow, but I do want to say this. Oh, there's a new leaf. I forgot to say that. So about a couple leaves in the past 6 weeks to 3 months. This is the one, this is the first one that I put biochar in. And I talked about how even though this biochar is not like charcoal and it's charged, I was a little worried about potential leaching. Not leaching, like the charcoal taking the good nutrients and taking it away from the plant. I don't know if that's what's happening, or maybe I'm over fertilizing it just because it is a baby. I don't see any roots in the reservoir. There is a new leaf. I guess I have to wait for that new leaf to come out. But the reason why I think it might be kind of robbing the plant, and I know these are totally different plants. It came from 2 different seeds, so they're not the same. I have this one here that I got the same day. I transferred them the same day. And actually, did I put biochar in this one? I think I might have put biochar in this one. I'm digging. I don't see any though. But do you see the difference in color? This one's in pawn. Do you see? There's definitely a difference. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait to see. But I thought it was very interesting just seeing the difference between the two. Okay, another one from Cartil Down. This was a seed from a year ago, and it did nothing in moss, and I was so scared. I'm so bad when it comes to seeds. She's hanging on here. Okay, and then my little velvet mask crossed with self seedling. I am terrified. I think the biggest thing I was terrified about was acclimating it to ambient room conditions, because I kept her in high humidity because she was a little itty bitty thing. Now I am gonna try to get rid of a lot of the moss. She's been like this since November. I think that's a little too long, so wow, that's a good root system, everyone. Look at that. For such a small little seedling. Okay, I feel better. Might have put too much. I like that. Look how cute. Oh my gosh, please do well. This is the Anthurium Velvet Mask crossed with Self. I am giving it a lot more light, but honestly, when I transferred it into Tree Fern, it just took off. Wow. Like, I think moving forward, I'm just going to do a Tree Fern mix. I think before I was so scared that I just kept doing moss. It was either moss, something fell behind me, I'm scared. Moss, and then a tree fern layer at the bottom. But I think I feel okay doing just tree fern because this has grown so quickly in such a short period of time. Like, she was nothing before. Also, she's pupped. Do you see all these? These are all just pups. So the tree fern's doing something. It really is doing something. Okay, we don't know yet for this one. This was kind of showing the same symptoms, I guess, as the Papillilaminum hybrid that had the chlorotic looking leaves. Ace of Spades crossed with Magnificum. Okay, let's take a look. And same thing. So do you see the root system there? No root rot at all. And so I really think it's a nutrition thing. I really do. Again, a lot of the time when I see leaves like this, I always question if it's grow light related, but I was very mindful of where it was pointing and it wasn't under grow light, so. How do we like that? How do we like that? I really hope this takes off now. So I think she had 2 leaves, but I just eliminated one. She looks like this, and I didn't know what was happening. I truly believe that it was the pollen and the over-fertilization and the pH being just so off. Look at this new leaf, and we don't know if it's gonna, harden off to this, but this looks so promising. So on the flip side, transferring this to tree fern, it's looking like it's helping because she so far looks healthy, and I'm so excited, everyone. Do you see this? Oh my god. This is the green form. I got this one from North Shore Tropicals. And yeah, like, this looks great. Fingers crossed, everyone. Send prayers. Hopefully it doesn't turn into that. Okay, this one I'm very excited about. This is another plant that I got from the Prophecy OTO. It was from David's collection, Confused Planto. This plant's beautiful. It is an Anthurium Port from NSC crossed with Ralph Lynam Fort Sherman. Okay, and lastly, this one. So same configuration. This self-watering planter. There's such a nice root branching here. Do you see that? I don't know. I'm scared. It's gonna take me a little bit to adjust to having these kind of mixes. And so, isn't this an exciting chapter? I'm so excited they all die, watch. Okay, so when I got it, I think there were 2 or 3 leaves. So this is one of the old leaves. You can see that she's going. Look at this new leaf, everyone. Oh my God, it is so dark. Look at this. I'm in love. Okay, and there is a new leaf. I mean, wow. Do you see that? That's so pretty. Wow. Doing so well. Like, I didn't expect it to be this dark, and again, like, I didn't do any research when I got these plants. Like, I like to be surprised. Any plant, you know, if I get it small, I am just so excited to watch it grow for myself and not necessarily thinking of, oh, if it had this characteristics, it'll look like this. Like, it's going to be so different between each seed just because they are hybrids. But look, whoa, a whoa, and then the new leaf, a whoa. Okay, I don't know. This one doesn't look like it's doing well. And please help me, everyone, please. This is the Anthurium Fairchild Tropical Gardens Crystallinum. Did I say it right? Fairchild Tropical Gardens Crystallinum. Okay. Crossed with Ralph Lynam Fort Sherman. Okay, so I think it came out with it had this leaf already, and it had 2 other leaves, I think, before. She did push out this new leaf. I think because of the transfer into tree fern, it did that. I don't know what's happening. Do you see? Do you see, guys? Help. I don't know. It's mainly like the middle here. And again, I looked for pests. Like, every time I look, it's only the good bugs. Keep blowing to see if... I don't know. Or maybe it's just a one-off, and maybe it's just like freaked out for some reason. So she did push out 2 leaves, but like this one's funky. And I think that's it. I do have 3 like big anthuriums, my Forgetii, my Zara Michelle, and what's the other one? My Crystal Mag that I got from North Shore Tropicals. Those ones are also in tree fern. Those ones are almost too recent, like a month ago, and there's no new growth. So all 3 of them are top cuttings, so I do expect them to take a little bit longer. The Zara Michelle is pushing out a new leaf though, so that's promising. And so before I end this video, what are my opinions about tree fern substrate and anthuriums? I would say it's probably the best mix that I've experienced, just as long as you have a self-watering apparatus attached to it. I'm only basing this on a year or 2 experience growing anthuriums in Leca, about a year or 2 experience growing anthuriums in Lacunosa Pond, and I find that maybe it's too much for young anthuriums to be in Leca and Lacunosa Pond because I see a lot of burning. If they're too young, they're less resilient, they're a bit more fragile. Maybe like the pHs and the substrates are like not balanced enough. But I've seen the least issues with having these small anthuriums in tree fern substrate, which, you know, I'm so happy to see because I always had issues, and I think I say this all the time. I had so many issues putting my small anthuriums into Lacunosa Pond. I mean, only time will tell with the more mature ones, but I think it's superior in my opinion. We'll see. So it's so early, it's like 3 months. And okay, thank you for watching. I really appreciate everyone coming back, everyone who's new, welcome. And yeah, I'm still so excited to continue this journey growing these plants in tree fern substrate. Okay, I will see you in the next one.